I am doing fantastic, Lou. How are you doing?
Pretty good. A little tired, but that's just my natural state of being.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is. So, did you have a long day today, or?
Yeah, just the usual day.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've been up and around. I've been up and around since about 5 Eastern. So
Oh, wow. That does kind of make a little bit of a long day, doesn't it?
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me for Madness to Creation. And do I have about 10 minutes with you or so, or?
Yeah, as long as you need. No, I'm good up to 30 minutes. So take as much time as you need.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say your PR agent didn't really specify a length of time, so I just kind of want to make sure that just in case you had other interviews or get ready for hard drive XL or
No.
anything like that.
Actually, no. I had the other stuff was earlier in the day, so you're all I have this evening. So I got time. And normally I would be recording some other stuff, but I don't do a lot of that on Wednesday. So no, this is the perfect night. We have all the time that you need.
Okay, well, very cool. Well, thank you again. I was gonna say I started kind of diving into your book, Sonic Warrior: My Life as a Rock and Roll Reprobate, on April. That's gonna be released on April 21st, and you got Corey Taylor to write the forward. Just kind of tell us about your relationship with him, and what are a few tidbits that surprised you
Oh,
about
here,
him?
here. I'm sorry. Are we starting now? Are we starting now?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you want to start again, and again, it's coming out April 14th,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
the full title. You don't need the full title, but um, Sonic Warrior: My Life is a Rock and Roll Reprobate. Tales of sex, drugs, and vomiting at inopportune moments. But you don't need that last part. It's fine. It's kind of long. So, but yeah, if you want to start again, go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. You're releasing Sonic Warrior: My Life as a Rock and Roll Reprobate on April 14th. I got the date right this time, and you got Corey Taylor to write the forward. Just tell us about your relationship with him, and what are a few tidbits that surprised you about him when you got to know him?
Um, I've known those guys a long time. I was the first to play them outside of local radio in Des Moines, and put them on my syndicated show, Hard Drive with Lou Brutus. Actually, before the record ever came out, before the debut on Roadrunner was finished, and went to see them a lot. They became my favorite band very quickly. Spent a lot of time with them, and we just became friendly, I suppose. And we've been in touch ever since then. Um, Corey was one of the people who sort of harangued me to write a book. I had talked about it for, God, 10 or 15 years. And, he's a phenomenal author in his own right.
Mhm.
And one of the times we were talking about the book and putting it together, I said, well, you should write the foreword. And he said, of course I'll write the foreword for it. And it was a little over a year ago, actually, that the book was just about done. I wasn't sure who was going to publish it at that point. And Corey and I were together someplace, I think at Stone Sour show. And he said, hey, what's up with the book? I got the foreword all ready to go. And I said, well, I've got to add some other stuff. Can I curse, by the way?
Oh, sure you can. Just say whatever you want.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. I want to quote him correctly. But I said, yeah, I've got some other stuff I want to add, so it's really not done. And he looked at me like I was the stupidest guy on the planet. And he said, you fucking idiot. You just write another book after this one. And I was like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. He went, oh my God. So I wrapped the book soon after that. Corey sent me the foreword, and yeah, I'm really honored to have it in the book. He's one of my favorite people on the planet, certainly one of my favorite artists. Um, yeah, just happy to have him on there. And I'll be seeing the Knot tour coming up this summer as many times as I can. I've seen them 40, 50 plus times at least. So
Oh man.
many, many, many times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is amazing, and I have yet to see Slipknot actually. And I'm from Iowa too, so that's kind of the ironic thing that I haven't
Oh,
seen them
you
yet.
should be ashamed of yourself then. Shame on you, Maddie.
Yeah.
A Mason City man like yourself, and you haven't seen Slipknot for God's sake.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, the last I saw them was actually in Iowa, announced the Iowa State Fair
Mm-hmm.
that I was going to be at that show, and I was given the honor of introducing them. It was an insane show, and I've been to many Slipknot shows, and I have planned on going to see them for Halloween with Metallica, and I literally was only a day or so away from booking my trip, which would have been non-refundable down to New Zealand for Metallica Slipknot. They were doing 2 shows in Auckland, New Zealand, one of which was Halloween, and like I was set to go. James, of course, had to go back into rehab, and the entire tour got canceled. I would have spent a very expensive 3 days in New Zealand, for no days I would have loved to have done. Anyway, but no Slipknot, no Metallica would not have been as nearly as exciting as I had wanted it to be. So, and speaking of Metallica, excuse me, oh my God. There's, along with the foreword from Corey, and there's a Slipknot-related chapter in the book, and a Stone Sour-related chapter. There is also a Metallica-related chapter. And for folks who are unsure, my book is a collection of stories, and each story is a separate chapter, and it's all stuff from, I've been doing rock radio and working with bands and interviewing and all this nonsense for like 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, if you're around anything, let alone rock and roll, some weird shit's going to happen. So each story is some of the sort of crazier things that have happened to me. The Metallica chapter is entitled "The Time I Went to the Arctic and Got in a Mosh Pit with a Bunch of Kids in Polar Bear Fur while Metallica sang about sodomizing a goat."
Oh.
It's about going up to the Molson Ice Polar Beach Party with Metallica, which was held in, now some people would say Eskimo, which actually, as I discovered, and you discover in the chapter, is really the best way to refer to the native population up there. They are Inuit, so it was in an Inuit town, but cut off from the rest of the world, called Tuktoyaktuk. And Molson Beer had a contest, and contest winners were invited. I got to go up. I was the lone media representative up there, and it was Metallica, Veruca Salt, Hole, and Moist. And it was almost virtually at the very top of the planet. And it was a great show, an amazing set of days. And so in all my years of doing this stuff, again, weird shit has happened, and it's all there in the book.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I've actually checked out some of the weird shit in the book, and just kind of one of the things, just kind of skim through it and all that, and just kind of a couple questions I have for you. Kind of going back to Slipknot here. You have seen them 40 or 50 times. What first drew Slipknot to you? Like, was their performance, or their just their music? What was it?
No, I had heard rumblings about them. But I don't think that I had heard anything. And then somebody from who worked for Roadrunner at the time, a guy named Mark Psycho Abramson, who's an old friend, he sent me an advance, again, unfinished, of the record, and said, "Dude, this is going to become your favorite band." And people say that, you think, "Yeah, well, okay, whatever." And I heard it, and I thought it was one of the most amazing things I ever heard in my life.
Wow.
And yeah, it was metal, but there were also other elements in there. There were hip hop elements. There were punk rock elements, I think, ingrained in Slipknot's DNA. And I think part of it was the double percussion. Part of it was Corey's delivery. Part of it was Joey strumming, and of course the layering of the guitars. I mean, I had never heard anything that sounded quite like that. It was aggressive. It was insane. I thought the lyrics, as twisted and as frightening as they could be, I thought they were also really intelligent and insightful. And I just thought, what the fuck is this? And then I finally got to go see them, and it was an Ozfest show in Hartford, Connecticut. And I remember they were the first band on that day. Again, you have to understand, when Knot did that tour, outside of essentially Des Moines, Iowa. It was just one of the most insane things I had ever seen. And again, I have seen over 3,000 live music events. I've seen damn near everybody and everything there is to see. I never felt a jolt to my system the way I did. I came over the crest of the hill in the lawn seating area of this place just as they were starting. And I just remember going out loud, what the fuck is this? Because, and I knew, they got masks and they had jumpsuit, and I've seen all sorts of theatrical bands and stuff. There was nothing like this. And part of it, I believe, was there were 9 of these guys. Like, everywhere you looked, it was like watching a nightmare. And within moments, these kids in Hartford, Connecticut had a cloud of dust going up from the pit. And again, they were not in stage. They were opening up the side stage. I can't stress to you how they stealthed everyone on that tour. And Sabbath was playing that tour. Godsmack was a fairly a baby band still at that point. It was the opening show on that Ozfest tour. And I remember I was sitting on a picnic table backstage with Tony Rombola, a guitar player for Godsmack, and his idol is Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. And here I was, we had interviewed earlier in the day, and we're just kind of shooting the shit backstage later in the day. And Tony Iommi is standing behind him. I thought Tony Rombola was going to piss his own pants. He froze. He's like, "Oh my God, is that Tony Iommi?" And he's like, "Tony Iommi? Oh my God, I've never been to close to Tony Iommi." I'm like, "Dude, you should introduce yourself to your band." I can't just introduce myself to Tony Iommi. And later, of course, they became very friendly, and the Black Sabbath guys really took a shine to Godsmack, and of course had Godsmack as an opening band for some of the final Sabbath shows. But all in all, that was an amazing day. And then of course I went back to do my first in-person interview with Slipknot. And the guy, now you have to understand, there are 9 guys in the band and a bunch of crew members. And this is not modern day Slipknot where there's tons of buses for the crew, and they takes away a mile of buses down the highway. Everyone was on one bus. Mm-hmm. And this bus was like the oldest fucking bus you've ever seen. Like this probably took, I don't know, like the ink spots of the Mills Brothers on tour in the 1940s. And the bus from all of these guys with all of these unwashed jumpsuits and masks, it stank. It just horrible stench. But I went in, and the guys, they had all listened to my show, for years before Slipknot got together, and they knew I was also like championing the band, so they treated me really, really well. A few of the guys grabbed me and picked me up and carried me from one end of the bus back to the lounge again. Corey did not do the interview because he had like torn up his vocal cords and had to watch talking. I think the first interview, well, I have to go back. I've got it all archived. I think it was Joey and or Clown. Mm-hmm. But Corey and I did have a long conversation. Most of it was me, and he refers to it in the foreword of the book. Most of it was me just yakking at him about all these different bands that we liked, and I'm older than he is, which he kicks me about all the time. But I shoot right back at him. Well, fuck you. I might have 10 or 12 years on you, but in that time, I thought all of the bands you never had a chance to. So I always like to rub that in his face whenever I get a chance, in a good-natured way. So, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about those guys. There are a lot of bands that I like and a ton of bands that I respect, but there are some bands that I truly, truly love, and I look forward to seeing them every time I can, and Slipknot is absolutely one of those bands.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna say, I really appreciate you sharing the stories and stuff like that. And it's just kind of one of those things. I got a bunch of questions flowing in my head. And are there any bands out there like right now that you are just like have the sense of urgency to tell people you've got to get to know these guys. You've got to get to know these guys that might not be on their radar yet.
Well, one band, and I think they just started to get on everybody's radar just recently, is Bones UK. That was another band I heard some early stuff from, but I didn't get to see them until I guess it was fall of last year. They were part of a bill. They were the openers. The headliner was the Struts, which is another band, by the way, and we can talk about the Struts in just a moment. If you want to see one of the fucking best bands that are going on this planet right now, the Struts are the band. Glorious Sons were also on the bill. It was at a phenomenal club. It's one of my favorite places to see a show. Great sightline, great sound system. It's been there for many years. The 930 Club in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
But Bones UK, I kind of felt bad for them that night because the 930 Club has a sizable stage, but both Glorious Sons and the Struts had such big setups that the members of Bones UK, they look like, you ever see those pictures of like the mountain goats who are climbing on the side of a mountain and it doesn't look like there's any place for them to climb?
Oh, yeah.
That's what Bones UK looks like. They literally had like 6 inches to stand on. And play and they couldn't even get to one another because the drums came right to the edge of the stage, so everybody was separate. But they still did a great set. They were not terribly well lit. For folks that don't know, besides all the radio stuff I do, I also do a lot of photography. And I was there I interviewed the Struts and also shot all of the bands that night. But as dim as it was, and they weren't very well lit because they were right on the edge of the stage, I did manage to get some kind of cool images for them that the band recently just saw and liked, and I sent them copies for them to use however they want. So, yeah, Bones UK would definitely be a band. Back to the Struts really quick. There are a number of groups these days who sort of wear their classic rock influences on their sleeve, which I don't have a problem with. If you can make something original come out of those textures, I'm all for it. I think the Struts, I'm not going to say they're the best at doing that, but I'll say they're my favorite at doing that. I think they're an amazing group. I think all 4 of those guys can play and perform their asses off. They have one of the best vocalists on the planet right now. It's my understanding that much like the last album, Young and Dangerous, that the new record is also going to be produced by the great Butch Walker. And Butch is a favorite musician of mine. He's also an amazing songwriter and producer. I first saw him years ago, like back, I guess, in the 80s. His first band out of his hometown of Atlanta that he performed with was a group called House Gang, and they were really, really good. I saw them once at the Empire Rock Club in Philadelphia. And then I saw him again with his next band, who I was a huge fan of, called The Marvelous Three, and then he went off on his own as Butch Walker, and he picked up a lot of writing and production credits since then. But the meeting of him and the Struts, I think, was absolute fucking genius, because the sorts of things the Struts are interested in texture-wise, and some of it harkening back to great classic rock bands, Butch is well-versed in all of that stuff. And I think he probably, I'm just guessing this, but I think in his mind's ear, when the band were describing what they wanted, I think he probably could understand them better than anybody else in the recording industry today. And I'm super excited. I hope they do another record together. I pray they do another record together. So, and then there's other bands that have been around longer that I always like to point out. Motionless in White is a fantastic band. I don't think they get their all that they're due. I think Avatar is a fucking amazing band. and should be bigger than they are. And then there are other bands. Now Seven Dust is a terribly famous band, but I think anybody who loves them would agree that Seven Dust does not get the amount of respect that they are due. Seven Dust is, in fact, one of the greatest rock bands on the planet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I've mentioned this before, but I will say it again. When they come back and go back on the road again, some of the guys are doing some solo stuff now. Their new album is already recorded. They recorded it at the end of the last tour cycle late last year. Put it in the can. It's ready to go. So they will have the new record out in the fall, and they have tour dates. Now, when they play festivals, when you see Seven Dust at a festival, do this. Don't forget. Look at the side of the stage, and I guarantee you that every other musician who is playing that day, who is not already at that moment occupied, will in fact be on the side of the stage, staring at Seven Dust, wondering how they got so fucking good. Because as good as so many of these other bands are, there are only a handful that can touch Seven Dust in terms of performance ability. And they're also great guys, and they're another band that I've known for decades and have traveled the world with. And I wish them all the best, and I hope they get more and more fans because by God, they deserve it.
Oh, absolutely. So what do you think, like, speaking of Seven Dust there, I've seen them actually 14 times live and got to interview Clint Lowry recently. And first of all, have you heard Clint Lowry's solo record?
Oh, hell yeah. He and I had an advance of that and listened to it several times. It was one of those things where I just put a record on and listened to it over and over again for several days.
Oh, absolutely.
And part of that was to get ready for I had a lengthy interview with him. But again, I've known him for 20 plus years. So we recorded probably 30, 35, 40 minutes. But then I think we ended up on the phone for another 20 or 30 minutes, just, asking about each other's families. And, I wanted to check on everybody in the band because I hadn't seen anybody since late last year when they came off the road. The Seven Dust is probably the most underrated band on the planet, and he is absolutely one of the most underrated guitar players on the planet. And what surprises a lot of people about this record, the fact that it's his first solo record. And that's strictly like calling it by his name because, of course, he has been in projects outside of Seven Dust, like Dark New Day, but it's never been under his own name. And I think this was a really great start. I have not looked at any reviews yet. Actually, I don't want to have the surprise spoiled. But he's currently on the road with Alter Bridge, and I would hope Alter Bridge is bringing him up for the encores or to do a song or something in the middle of the set because Mr. Lowry with the Alter Bridge boys, like, fuck, that's just insane. They're all so good.
Oh, absolutely. And Lowry, I think, would complement Mark Tremonti really well on the guitars as well.
And they're buddies and they're friends. They've known each other a long time. So I'd actually be kind of surprised if it's not happening. But yeah, you never know. You never know.
Oh, absolutely. And kind of to switch gears to your book, I read the part about Snoop Dogg, and for some reason, I have this almost obsessive fascination with Snoop Dogg, and it looked like you got the opportunity to interview him like during the Project Revolution tour, and this is just kind of a fun question. I have to ask, was it good from Snoop? Because I noticed the title of the chapter and stuff that you got you so high you drooled in your lap. I just have to ask, was it good? And what was the biggest takeaway that you got from interviewing with him? Like, what was your perception of him?
Well, yeah, the full title of the chapter you're referring to is "The Time Snoop Dogg Got Me So High I Drooled in My Own Lap." The biggest takeaway was, it wasn't a surprise though. He gives thoughtful, intelligent answers, but that's what I expected from him.
Mm-hmm.
I was very familiar with his lyrics. I had read many, many articles on him and a lot of interviews with him. So I knew he was, a sharp dude. He's certainly an astute businessman. It's going to sound stupid. The first thing that really, kind of surprised me, he was a lot taller than I thought he'd be. I thought he was like a small guy. And
Oh, really?
I think he was like half a head or a head higher than me. And the other thing, and I touch on it in the chapter, and just to put it into perspective, I had gone to cover Project Revolution that year, and it was at the whatever the amphitheater is called in Camden, New Jersey, right across the Delaware River from Philadelphia. It's a nice venue. It's like the sheds around the country, the indoor outdoor kind of places for the lawn section. And I had done interviews that day with the Lincoln Park guys, the Korn guys, and some of the other groups on Project Revolution that year. But my producer came up to me late in the day and said, "Hey, I know you're done and you don't have it on your schedule, but we just had an offer. Do you want to interview Snoop Dogg?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to interview Snoop Dogg. He's an interesting guy, And again, I'm not the biggest hip hop fan in the world. It's not my thing, but I have a ton of respect for any good artist in any genre. So I said, yeah, definitely. And this was right in the middle. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a time where there were big headlines about Snoop is clean. Snoop's not smoking weed anymore. Snoop doesn't want to be associated with weed. He's not smoking.
I remember those headlines.
Yeah, this was literally like right in the middle of all that. Excuse me. So anyway, I go to the dressing room at this place. I think it was right as Korn was going on or about to go on at that point in the day. And I knock on the door, and the door opens, and like some old Cheech and Chong movie, clouds of weed smoke. Like London fucking fog just comes billowing out of the door. And I'm thinking, and again, I'm thinking, well, those guys are still smoking. Everybody said Snoop's clean. Snoop said he's clean. I have no reason to doubt the guy. And I said, hey, I'm Lou. I think Snoop is expecting me. And I hear from inside the room, Brutus, get your ass in here. And I'm like, oh, I'm expected. So I go in, and I always try and find an icebreaker or something that before I do an interview with somebody, even if you don't record it or you don't use it, it's just nice to have a little something to sort of, break the ice if you've never met somebody before.
Oh, right.
And because I had no time to prepare for this, I really didn't have anything. But my family and I had just come back from Bermuda like a few days before, and while in Bermuda, it's this great place to go for vacation, by the way. You can get Cuban cigars there. So I got a couple of packs of those. Those Clint Eastwood cigars, those little mini-sized ones that he smokes in the westerns.
Oh, yes.
Mini Cohibas. So I would buy a couple packs of mini Cohibas whenever I go to Bermuda, so I could walk around and tell my friends, "Hey, have a Cuban cigar." Duh. So anyway, I go to shake Snoop's hand, and we're going to sit down on this couch in the dressing room, and there's a coffee table there, and on it, I noticed there's a couple of cigars. And I'm like, oh, there's my end. Snoop smokes cigars. I'll offer him a mini Cohiba from Cuba. and I do, and he frowns and goes, and he puts him under his nose and smells the tobacco. He goes, Brutus, a true pimp. And I thought, Snoop called me a pimp. Well, that's the nicest compliment I've had all day. and he lights up the cigar, and I go to set up my interview and stuff, recorder and all those things. And in the meantime, Snoop picks up one of his cigars and lights it and hands it to me. Now, the dumb fuck that I am, I'm thinking, it's a cigar.
Oh, boy.
He hands it to me, and then that's when I noticed out of the unlit end, there's like this nuclear green glowing vegetation. And I'm like, gee, I'm not aware of any cigar products that, oh my God, it's marijuana. And at this point, I hadn't smoked any weed in like 10 or 12 years. I love the smell of it. I think people should be allowed to smoke weed whenever they want. And certainly if people they should get all of the cannabis or cannabis-related substances that they want. But it's not for me. But anyway, he hands this thing to me, and I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I'm just holding it. And Snoop looks at me like, the fuck you doing? And then his guys start to stare at me, and I'm like getting paranoid. I'm like, they're going to think I'm a fed or something. So I hit it. And I almost coughed my lungs out. And at one point, I go, you motherfucker, cover your mouth. So I hit it twice as it goes around the table. I don't know how I got through the interview. I think I was asking the same things over and over again. I was wasted. And there's a picture. You know, I posted, go on, like, Twitter and search Lou Brutus or whatever, and I'm sure you'll be able to find the image. Snoop and I are standing shoulder to shoulder for a picture. And he's like, he's got some hand signs or something he's flashing. And I'm just staring up at him. My eyes are like red slits. And I'm staring at him like the dopiest looking motherfucker on the planet. And another thing that's in the chapter is I'm you know, part of the reason I don't smoke weed is A, I get really stupid, B, I get really paranoid.
Oh, wow.
And I was thinking, oh, hey, okay, Snoop, I'm going to go now. Thanks a lot. Hey, I didn't leave my recorder or anything here. And I kept, like, checking my bag and looking for stuff. And he said, no, man, no. Got any shit. By the way, that's the fourth time you asked. I think I better go now. And then I left. And then I went out and watched Korn perform. And I almost started to hallucinate. I was so high. I was afraid paraquat.
Oh, my God.
Heinous chemical in the weed that I smoked. And at one point, I'm just staring at the ceiling. Just high as fuck. And I'm getting more paranoid because Korn did their Pink Floyd medley from the wall, which is just the worst thing you can hear when you're wasted.
Oh, I know.
I feel like a tingling sensation on my thighs.
Oh, no.
And I kind of like, I look down, and there's a puddle of drool in my lap. And it's connected to my chin by this long, thick rope of snot and drool. And I must have looked like an extra from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then I had to drive normally it would have been like a 2.5-hour drive home from Philly down to the D.C. area. I think it took 4 hours. Because I was probably doing like 35 or 40 the whole way, like fucking high. So anyway, that's the Snoop Dogg thing. Now, I have not seen or spoken to him since then. However, this July, I'm back as the host of Rock Festival in Quot, Wisconsin, July.
Oh, nice.
I believe the dates are 16, 17, 18 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the final night, the third night, is co-headlined by Limp Bizkit and Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
so, I don't
wow.
know. You know, I'll get word to. I'll get him a copy of the book. I'm sure he'll think it's stupid because it is. You know. Hopefully, he'll get a laugh out of it. I think he has a pretty good sense of humor.
Oh, I'm sure he
does. We were talking about Slipknot before. Slipknot is playing there. Papa Roach is playing there. Disturbed, Stain, Theory of a Dead Man. So I'm stage announcer for that. I'll be in the pit. Photographing all the bands. I'll be backstage interviewing everybody. And we're also doing book signings there. The Wednesday night at Rockfest is sort of like a pre-show party. And I'll do a formal signing there. You'll be able to buy the book at merch the entire festival. And then after the Slipknot performance on Friday night, we're going to have like an all-night signing party. And that'll probably just mean I'm sitting there with a bottle of Jack Daniels signing and doodling and in books all night, you know. So, yeah, I'm excited for Rockfest, and, you know, I'm glad to hear that you've enjoyed the book.
Oh, yeah, I definitely enjoyed the part with Snoop Dogg just because I find him to be such a fascinating character. I mean, he's the same guy that's like best friends with Martha Stewart, you know, and so to me, it just kind of he's an interesting
guy. You know, I think part of the reason why I was so stoked to speak to him is, you know, he's Renaissance man. He's he's a singer, he's an entertainer, he's a writer, he's a producer. He wears a lot of hats and wears them all well, and none of them are easy to succeed in. And he's done a lot. So props to the Snoop.
Oh, absolutely. He deserves all the props. So, if you don't mind, I have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
If providing you have the time, of course. I just want to respect your time and stuff.
I'm fine.
Okay. Like on the Project Revolution tour, what are some memories that you have with Chester Bennington, like over the years? If you don't feel comfortable addressing some of this stuff, I get it.
No, not at all. I thought he was a wonderful human being and a great artist. Linkin Park was another band that I gave the first national airplay to on my show. And, he and all the guys were appreciative of that. Although I think that first tour cycle was a real eye opener for them, as it is for any band. Again, because Slipknot is fresh in my mind from the conversation earlier, that first tour cycle was a couple of years long for them. Same thing with Linkin Park. And I think both tour cycles ended at the same place. I know for sure Slipknot's first full tour cycle ended at the Electric Factory in Philadelphia. And I think Linkin Park's also ended at the Electric Factory in Philadelphia. If it wasn't the very last, it was towards the end. But the thing was, at the beginning of those cycles, both bands, you could tell they were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and new to the business. And in just a couple of years of nonstop touring and dealing with the press and dealing with a lot of horse shit, they were different people by then. They were not unfriendly, but they were certainly wary and more careful in what they said and did. I did not take that personally at all. I mean, in the cases of those bands and many others, I've been around these folks, and I'm not a tattletale, and I don't talk about what goes on behind the scenes, and I don't talk shit. And
for sure.
I'm just there to support music.
Oh, that's why you're the best.
And the artists know that. But all bands have been burned by people who do shitty things to them, and I think it makes them a little bit more guarded sometimes. But in the case of Chester and all for the rest of the Linkin Park guys, they've always been great to me. They've always been super friendly. I remember their last Rock on the Range appearance. They weren't going to do any press. And Chester saw, I was just out talking to somebody, and Chester turned to me and said hi and pointed his PR people at me and said, "Him I'll talk to." I think the band did like 2 interviews that entire, and of course there's like 50 to 100 requests for them, and they had turned everything down. But then that day, he's okay. Well, him, yeah, we know he's here. And they did it. It was the last picture I got with Chester, and the last time I got to talk to him. And he was a nice guy. He loved his family. He was certainly a fucking amazing entertainer and a phenomenal lyricist.
Absolutely was.
But again, it's funny to talk to those guys off stage because they're calm, cool, and collected. They're not the same sort of creature that they often turn themselves into, and I don't mean creature in a bad way, just
for
different
sure
sort of person that they are when they hit the stage. So.
Well, I definitely do appreciate you sharing that story with me about Chester. And kind of one more question that I always ask the people I interview. We cover mental health awareness, and we've just kind of turned the corner in terms of really trying to push normalizing mental health conversations. And I know you brought up earlier about like the use of cannabis and stuff like that to help with that. What advice do you have like for our readers and our listeners?
Well, listen. If you need help of any kind, whether it's mental health, your physical health, don't be ashamed of it, and don't think that you're the only one. Because let me tell you something. I think in this day and age that we live in, where there are stresses from what's happening in the world that probably weigh on a lot more people, a lot heavier than maybe at other times in history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that people need to realize that they are not alone, and many other people share their fears and the triggers that stress them. Get help of any kind. Get whatever help that you think you need. Now, if help for you is just finding a friend or a family member to talk to, then do it. If getting professional help is what you think you need, that other things aren't working, then do it. I'm not going to tell people, hey, don't do drugs, but for me, they don't work. So just speaking personally, again, if people want to smoke weed, I'm all for it. I think people should be able to do it. But I've seen too many family members, too many friends, too many musicians and artists I know either die, or what happens even more often than that is people do not reach their full potential. And that's because they're too busy being wasted or too busy being hungover, and they can't concentrate on their art. I mean, I used to party like crazy. But one day I realized, you know what? You're better off, at least I'm better off with the only drug being caffeine, black coffee, and music. Because I love music, so I'd rather get up in the morning and work on photos that I just shot. And that's what brings me, that's the original point, that's what brings me mental health and inner peace. Because I work 7 days a week. I mean, I sometimes go, 3, 4, 5, 6 months straight without a day off. But I like what I do, so I'm lucky. But there have been times in my life where I doubted whether I should be around anymore. And, you need to recognize those doubts in yourself and, if need be, get assistance with them. Again, there's no shame in it. Most people go through points in life at least once, and some people have to deal with it over extended periods of time. But get help. And it's great that somebody like yourself is encouraging people. It's been great from the artist community. I think it had been getting stronger the last 10 or 12 years, but I think certainly since the deaths of Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, I think it's added a new urgency, which I'll say I'm glad to see. I mean, I'm not glad that all this is happening, but I'm glad to see that more people are rising to it. I went to the Remembrance show at the Forum in L.A. for Chris Cornell, and the music was great, and I love those songs. It was just one of the most. I don't want to say it was miserable. I was miserable. I was not happy being there because the weight of how he died was a bit too much on my shoulders for me to be able to forget about it, lose myself in the music, and enjoy it. And I was glad to be there. Would go back again, but it was not. And some people, it was liberating for them. I think there were people around me who really felt it in a great way, and I felt it in a not great way, but I felt it was a good thing to be there. So, but again, the bottom line is, if you need help, then get help, and there's lots of ways that you can do it.
Yeah,
and it's not easy, but do it.
Oh, absolutely, and I do appreciate those words, Lou. And I just want to say, from a personal standpoint, when I listen to your show on Hard Drive XL, you have brought up things that have helped myself and your listeners with like the tidbits of wisdom that you have, and like some of the music that you've played. So I want to thank you too for your work that you do on the radio for that. So it is definitely appreciated.
And I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to knock what anybody else does on the radio, but, a lot of it is, it's the same wacky news stories or the same celebrity gossip stuff. Most of what I talk about is about music and about things related to music and the people who make it.
Mhm.
And that still leaves you a lot of room to talk about things and discuss things. But I just try for it all to be real and not be fake. And I mean, I'm goofy. I'm goofy as shit sometimes, but it's not all serious discussion.
Oh, for sure.
But I think it's all at least honest, if that makes sense. So thank you very much. And I do want to let people know you can pre-order the book. And again, the full title of the book is Sonic Warrior: My Life as a Rock and Roll Reprobate, Tales of Sex, Drugs, and Vomiting at Inopportune Moments. You can pre-order now through Amazon. You can pre-order through Barnes & Noble. The best thing that you can do is actually go to a fucking bookstore and buy it. Because if you don't buy books in person, they're going to end up like music stores, and there aren't going to be enough of them anymore. So support local booksellers. But you can also order through my publisher, Rare Bird Books, and those are actually autographed first editions if you go through Rare Bird Books and their website.
Awesome.
You can find out more. I have a website. You can get a full overview of me and the book and all my photography and all the other shit I do. LouBrutus.com. As you know, I'm very active on social media. Lou Brutus Rocks is the public page, little blue check mark on Facebook, at Lou Brutus on Twitter and Instagram. And I love hearing from people, and I really appreciate the support, especially from somebody in Iowa. And I will, in fact, be back there for my book tour. I'm going to be doing book appearances all year long, but I will definitely be in Des Moines in April, and I think we're trying to do something in Waterloo as well on the same day. So again, just watch LouBrutus.com, and I'll hit everybody, show what's going on.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. And Lou, it was such an honor and a privilege, and so much fun to talk to you from Madness to Creation. So thank you so much.
Matty, you're a good man. I appreciate everything you do for music. Continue to do it. I'm happy to come back anytime you want. I'll talk about how cool I am all fucking night. I don't mind.
Awesome, man. Well, it'll be an honor and privilege, Lou. So thank you so much.
Was that okay?
Oh, perfect.
Oh, great. Just send Amy links to everything, and I'll post them on my socials. Send me all your socials, too. So I think I'm following you on Twitter already.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Make sure you follow me on the other stuff. I'll follow you back.
Sounds great. Yeah, and I got to get on Twitter, and I'll follow you, and I'll try to get a few people to follow you as well. So.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I'll post links to everything, and try and make it out to one of the book signings.
Oh, I would love to. It'd be nice to meet in person. So.
Yeah, good. We'll make sure that if you come, make sure I know that you're coming, or at least if you come at the last minute, make sure you come up and introduce yourself.
Sounds fantastic, Lou. So thank you so much again.
Right,
have a good night. Cheers to you. Oh my